Greetings, I'm Dr. BUCKO, as is typically the case. And welcome to the SCP review. I am live on call with Haven and Fremen, and that's about it really. And Fremen's like technically sort of here. Oh, and Caleb has just joined us. Ostensibly, we might have other people, but I wouldn't count on it. Greetings in chat to Richie Batten, K. Shaw, Taste the Matrix, Drydas 19, Nerdy Rodent, Nexus Hunter, and Spectre 799. Glad you all could make it. We'll be getting started shortly after everyone has an option to introduce themselves as they see fit, I guess.
Hello.
Greetings. I don't know what I'm doing.
I
Me
remember
neither.
offering assault next time one was live, and so I thought I'd go ahead and throw thank you away. So, well, odds are we could use the help. This is going to be a very long SCP with a lot of dialogue. Greetings, Snoopy SN100, and anyone else who might be lurking there, silently. Well, this is probably going to take the entire hour, so I suppose we can get started. We're looking at SCP-7000, which is a bit inaccurately labeled. But that's fine there. Attention, Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority, Priority 1 announcement. A global LK class twist of fate probability failure scenario is presently in progress. For the duration of this crisis, any and all requests originating from ETRA personnel are mandatory directives carrying the authority of Overwatch Command. Not that Overwatch, though. I'm pretty sure there's been no Foundation Overwatch feed through. Probably. SCP Foundation personnel with undeclared anomalous conditions declaring themselves to an ETRA representative at this time will be granted amnesty from containment, amnesticization, or termination. It is vital to this organization's continued survival that all internal probability vectors be identified and countermeasures developed in a timely manner. It is vital to the continuance of the human race that this organization survive. We hold dominion over paranormalcy, and our law supersedes Murphy's. Signed, Dr. Dan Redacted, Director, ETRA. SCP-7000, Level 3 Confidential, Containment Class, Arketer, Secondary Class, Inimical, Disruption Class, Immediate Risk Class, Critical. But, as you know, that just annoys me.
Yes. I knew it the second I saw it.
Special containment procedures. All containment efforts respecting SCP-7000 are under the purview of the Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority. Non-ETRA personnel must refrain from containment activities directly related to this scenario. But note being, inimical class anomalies are exacerbated by containment efforts and must therefore be decommissioned. All Foundation personnel must consult ETRA Manual LK4. Don't bet on it. Assessing your tasks' probabilistic variable intensity before undertaking their daily duties. Tasks with a probability index above 4.9 must not be attempted except under direct instruction from Overwatch Command, ETRA, or supervisory personnel possessing security clearance level 4+. A full manifest of known SCP-7000 effects will be propagated daily on SCIPnet, and must be, until further notice, be consulted before experiments or operations of any kind are undertaken. SCP-7001 is inconsequential and requires no containment. Everyone, SCP-7001. SCP-7000 is a progressive randomization of probability factors and anomalous fortuity on the planet Earth and potentially beyond. The effect is not total. A comprehensive karmic failure would in quick succession terminate consensus normalcy, the SCP Foundation, and the human race, but instead piecemeal. Each factor is randomized to a different extent, for a different length of time, and often with a different geographical radius of effect, corresponding to no obvious logical pattern. Therefore, the cumulative impact of many nonsensical and high-profile outcomes to formally predictable actions is degrading the veil of secrecy at an alarming rate, and jeopardizing containment efforts worldwide. The cause of this disruption is, as of yet, or at present, unknown. SCP-7001 is Dr. William Wallace Weddle, a white, male, 54 years of age, presently serving as Deputy Chair of Replication Studies at Site-43. His relationship to SCP-7000 is classified level 4 secret. Clearance level 4 plus credit confirmed. The remainder of this file may only be disseminated with express authorization from the Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority or O5 Council on penalty of death. Addendum 7001 Phenomenological Overview. On 7 July of 2022, Rep. Qualler I/O Lorenz reported unusual behavior from random.org, an online number generation service serving as a bellwether for changes in universal probability. Computers can only generate pseudorandom values due to the inherent predictability of programming code, but random.org circumvents this by converting a natural atmospheric radio noise, achieving true randomness. I/O Lorenz issues daily requests for 10 random numbers between 1 and 10, 1 in 100, and 1 in 1000 as an early warning sign for probability collapse. The results for the 6th of July 2022 had been as follows. And by the way, this would prove that if there was any concern about whether or not I raffle off game keys fairly, well, this is actually true, and that's what I use. Random.org. But I'm sorry, again. The results for 6th July 2022 had been as follows. 9, 2, 6, 8, 10, 4, 7, 7, 5, 10, 83, 66, 32, 58, 34, 29, 91, 8, 56, 54, 37, 190, 581, 848, 63, 767, 166, 66, 8, 564, 932. The results for the following day were as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 1, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1,000. Meteorological investigation revealed that all atmospheric noise, regardless of weather conditions, now produces non-random numbers in discernible sequence. I/O Lorenz immediately activated a brute force redirect from random.org's number generator to itself and began generating pseudorandom numbers for public consumption until the anomaly could be identified and contained. The Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority and the Analytics Department were informed, and the latter quickly generated the following list of statistically unlikely events occurring on the same date, testifying to a rapid and widespread ontokinetic event. This is something we can take turns on. I could start with this first one, and then who would like to take one over after that?
I can take the next one.
Okay. Item. Infiltrator belonging to Group of Interest 003, the Chaos Insurgency, captured whilst engaged in a series of cryptic acts at Area 150. Infiltrator possessed a partial step compilation, an operational overview prepared by the Insurgency's chief operative, the Engineer, from data provided by an enigmatic stochastic prediction device, the Engine. Step 22 of a 617 suggested travel between two structures via tarmac path. Infiltrator interrupted by the sudden onset of a violent storm and knocked unconscious by a large hailstone. Reactive action. Subject detained. Interrogation underway as the Engine's master plan and ultimate goal are never made clear to any individual insurgent. It remains possible that this was the desired outcome.
Item. Sudden and wholesale collapse of all extant cryptocurrency markets. Reactive action. None taken. Event fully consistent with long-term probability models.
Shall we move on, or would you like to take this?
I can grab the next one.
Okay.
Item SCP-179, expressing obvious confusion, identifying threats in 8 directions corresponding to the cardinal compass points, though the relationship is purely visual, as SCP-179 is located not on Earth, but in close proximity to the, heliosphere? Reactive action. Due to the prohibitive expense of replacing solar probes after mishap, no attempt made to communicate directly with SCP-179 until stable probability restored. Area 08C monitoring remotely.
I presume Thurman's busy with something more important, so we'll restart the cycle. Item: repeat eruption of the Old Faithful Cone Geyser in Yellowstone National Park every 13 minutes, deviating from a bimodal pattern of approximately 65 or 91 minutes, followed since at least 1870. Reactive action: evacuation of the area and implementation of a scientific cordon to disguise parascientific investigation, which probably drew a lot more attention to the anomaly than we otherwise have done. Not the smartest move, Foundation.
Item: uncorrelated yield curve shifts of multiple low-yield investments by anomalous insurer Goldberger Rhines Insurance Group Limited. Adjusted book value now in the hundreds of millions of dollars USD. Reactive action: Goldberger Rhines representatives respond to all inquiries with the following. We would be pleased to discuss these unforeseen by you developments in person. Should you wish to trigger an early review of your policies at this time. No action taken. Investments crashed the following day, erasing all gains made. G-R representatives unresponsive to further inquiries.
To answer your question, Taste the Matrix, Fifthism will not be playing a major role in this. The Chaos Insurgency may or may not be playing a major role in this. That's a matter of speculation and debate, perhaps, if anyone bothered to debate it, which is not something we typically do here. The Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority declared a state of emergency on the 8th of July. The O5 Council granted ETRA amnesty powers over staff with undeclared anomalous conditions to encourage self-identification. Unaccounted for ontokinetic or thaumaturgical factors could theoretically complicate scenario mitigation efforts. Multiple staff members at Site-43 came forward for anomalous classification of the following week. The last was Dr. William Weddle, interviewed 13th of July. Fortunately, we only have 2 characters here that I'm aware of. Would someone like to be either Sokolsky or the soon-to-be infamous Dr. Weddle?
I can take either.
What are these established characters? So does Whittle have a specific personality to follow, or is it just whatever we'd deign to use?
Well, strictly speaking, it's possible there is some deep backstory of lore explaining Dr. Weddle's personality, motivations, deep-set feelings, but how we typically do it here is just whatever sounds funniest to you at the time.
Yeah, that works for
whatever
me.
amuses in general. You're not going to be judged. I guarantee you. You will not be cancelled. Well, not by anyone here anyway. I mean, if this gets out to the wrong crowd, see if they'll cancel anyone for anything. And I try not to think about that too much myself, but the odds are low.
I'm not worth canceling anyways. The effort would be wholly unworth the result.
Yeah, same. I really think I'm not at high risk. Just to mention the fact that they're making me more popular, and I'm almost certain all interest will be immediately lost in the effort. But in any case, would you perhaps prefer to take the role of Dr. D. Sokolsky?
Personally, I'd prefer to do Dr. Weddle.
Well then, by all means. Interview log. Officer of Record, Dr. D. Sokolsky, Deputy Director of ETRA. Subject, Dr. W. Weddle. Replication Studies, Site-43. The excerpt begins.
They've got you doing interviews now? Something happened to the people persons?
Every able-body's got an obligation to help if they can, pal. We're facing an all-hands-on-deck crisis.
Are those getting closer together, or is it just me? I swear, we have one only last year.
Okay, I'm going to skip the boilerplate and level with you. We're extremely busy, what with the world having found a fun and craven way to end, so don't waste my time. I know you're a time waster and the hypochondriac to boot, but give it to me straight and simple so I can dismiss it out of hand. What anomalous condition do you think you possess?
I'm unlucky.
Jesus Christ.
No, honest. I'm extremely unlucky. Good things don't happen to me, period. Game-changingly bad things don't happen to me either. I'm stuck in a cycle where nothing I do turns out right.
This is a walking clinic for closeted reality benders, you realize that? I'm a disaster response coordinator, not a therapist!
You're not listening! I'm in charge of replication studies, yeah? Well, I've done replication studies on myself.
What you do in the privacy of your room?
Fucking listen, alright? Or, you know what? Let me just...
Dr. Weddle reaches into his lab coat pocket and produces, in slow sequence, 3 large pieces of pocket lint, a plastic bottle cap, a lab coat button, a push pin with the point piercing his thumb, and a Canadian quarter. He sucks on his thumb for a moment, then places the quarter on top of it.
Gonna call it in the air.
Dr. Weddle flips the coin.
Heads.
The coin sticks to a ceiling tile. Dr. Weddle and Dr. Sokolsky examine it for a moment. Who puts gum on ceiling tile?
Alright, doesn't matter. Think of a number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
10.
No.
3.
No.
5.
No.
1.
No.
9.
No.
8.
Yet. Come on.
3.
You said 3.
4.
No.
2.
No.
6.
No.
7.
No. I mean, yes. Jesus, that wasn't dancing.
Let's do it again.
Let's not. Do you have any other data? The coin lands on Dr. Weddle's head. He reaches up to remove it from his hair. It is stuck as the gum is still attached. He sighs.
Coin flip records going back 20 years. I've never called it correctly.
Never?
Never. And this?
Dr. Weddle gestures at his hair.
This is my whole life. Has been since I don't know when. Every decision I make is a mistake. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. I've been exposed to so many batshit anomalies that they stopped bothering me from 1 week E-class quarantine. I've been kidnapped by VKTM so many times I've lost count. I've got no agency. I've got no control. Everybody else moves forward, and I stand still because my foot is stuck between the train track boards. I'm a negative probability sink.
Does it affect other people?
I think it can. I make my staff run through a few periodic exercises to reset their luck, which seems to protect them from the backwash. I was going to write a paper about it. I thought I'd have to write from a containment cell.
Yeah, about that. Why are you sharing this now? You could have kept it secret indefinitely. Folks around here think you're just a clumsy idiot. I thought I had experimental proof you're just a clumsy idiot.
Because if this kind of shit is getting worse, random stuff not being random anymore, predictable stuff going haywire, I'm liable to get pasted by a bus the moment I walk out the topside elevator.
Buses don't run around here.
With my bad luck and our bad luck combined, they might make an exception.
Well, wait a second. You said you've been keeping records.
Yeah?
Any change in the past week?
Nope. Every call goes wrong. Every single one.
Every single one.
Yeah? Why?
There are 136 probabilistic anomalies on record. You just became 137th.
Yay me. So what?
For the first time in your miserable life. Willie, you're someone special. Dr. Sokolsky developed a tentative theory to explain the above, rejecting some of Dr. Weddle's conclusions out of hand. He engaged in a short program of informal interviews, primarily with the staff of Site-43, to confirm his suspicions. Subject, Dr. Harold Blank, Chair, Archives and Vision, Site-43. We could use a Dr. Blank. Haven?
Me.
You're friends with Weddle, right?
Gonna tell him if I say yes?
No, Harry, I'm not going to go out of my way to engage wee Willie Weddle in conversation. Think about it!
Then yeah, sure, we're friends.
And what does that consist of?
He follows me around, I make fun of him, He eventually falls over or walks into something, and I help him get up or call the medics. We've got a kind of give and take thing going where he gives me headaches and I take the piss out of him. We probably seem like an odd pair.
Not really. You kinda look like it.
What?
Dr. Skolsky points. Big head, weird beard, dad glasses, no style.
Fuck off.
Betty thinks about that a lot. I could almost be this guy. How come he's got better job and more friends and real human wife instead of...
However that sentence ends, I do not want to hear it.
Point is, but for grace of fortuna, there go you.
I prefer to think of it as the grace of having absolutely any grace. I feel bad for him sometimes, but he lives down to his station. He's an ass.
You ever think there's anything anomalous about his blundering about?
1 or 2 times, maybe.
Spill.
Spill is right. My wedding last month.
Oh yeah, the flood.
First damn day in decades I wasn't wearing work boots.
And the other time?
Have you talked to his ex-wife?
Would someone like to take the role of ex-wife? As that's next subject. Margarita Villar.
I don't mind.
Yes, I feel like me playing both the ex-wife and Weddle would be rather odd.
You just made a fantastic case for it.
Negative.
It would be
Very
hilarious.
well. No obligations. Greetings in chat to all our staff who was here.
Mommy.
No, okay, would like to take the role of Villar, or maybe you want to give Sokolsky a spin and I'll handle Villar.
No, you do mad scientist way better than I do.
Or alternatively, Caleb, if you would like to take Sokolsky, I could take Villar on that. No? Okay then. Okay.
I feel as though if I attempted a Russian accent, it would be unluckier than Weddle.
Yes, but it's possibly better than mine. I mean, the bar is low. But in case, no worries. Haven, feel free to
Yes.
run wild with Villar at will.
I've never heard of Silly Crap Productions.
You will. But we're still finding our knobbly little feet, so to speak.
I guess that explains why you hire such a shitty expert. He ever tell you the grades he got at college? They only let him in his PhD program because my father was a donor.
Weddle's a bit of a donor too, isn't he? If you get my drift.
Alright, that was good. You got 5 minutes.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Terrific. So yes, we're doing a background check on him. I want to know if there's any skeletons in the closet, so the company doesn't get embarrassed when some paparazzo digs up an old tweet.
I doubt he uses Twitter. He's all thumbs and everything else, but all pinkies with electronics.
That's good. I'll have to remember that one. But how about his character? What kind of man was your ex-husband?
He was a selfish, worthless piece of shit, Mr. Vasilyev. And I doubt he's improved much since.
Wow. Not exactly the answer I was hoping for. Care to clarify?
When he accidentally dropped my Nikon off Niagara Falls on our honeymoon, I kept my cool. When he face planted into my father's cake on his 70th birthday, I took it in stride. When I had to get a second job because it accidentally showed up to the wrong office for 2 weeks, he said he'd never noticed, said nobody even told him, and he got fired. I let it slide. But the crash...
Crash?
It's not his fault. The crash was not his fault. I was driving mad. Mad at him, of course. It was always mad at him, at his stupid puppy dog shat on the rock face, and also believable bullshit about how he didn't mean to cut the bottoms off my best jeans with our weed trimmer. It just happened. then our house. What was I?
The crash.
Yeah, the crash. I was furious with over some or some shit. Can't even remember. And I saw red, except not where there actually was red. T-boned the minivan at speed. Lost my license. Lost my car. Nearly lost my job. And I lost my husband too. The day after I got out of the hospital, he just fucking left.
Jeez.
Can you imagine blaming someone for getting hurt? Couldn't handle the least amount of responsibility. I was better off without him, still am, but it sure as hell didn't feel that way at the time. Healthcare might be free in Canada, but down here it can cost you your whole life.
I understand. Rest assured, we'll be taking all of this into careful consideration in our hiring decisions.
Good, because no matter how hard you guys are for help, you still need someone you can trust. You'd be better off without him too.
Subject, Gabriel
Wow.
O'Connor, Research Assistant, Replication Studies, Site 43. Do we have a volunteer for this one by chance?
If Roman's not back, I can do O'Connor.
Okay, then. Rowan, yeah, I suppose he would not hesitate to announce if he were. But he's probably listening and judging us harshly.
I hope so.
Actually, no, more than that, condemning. We are now surely irredeemable at this point. Especially me.
Ah, yes. Good old condemnation.
I don't have to take that from him. I don't have to put up with this shit from you. Right. And indeed, greetings to anyone in chat who was watching who didn't bother to announce their presence. You rude bastards. Also, we have now gone over 13 likes. This stream has been a success. Thank you.
Woo!
Carrying on. Tell me what you think of Wethel. It's okay. This file is above his clearance level.
Wow, that sounds kind of mean?
Come on, shit talk your boss. I'm giving you a free pass here.
Yeah, I wasn't saying I disapprove. Being mean to the guy is a pretty natural reaction. I've never met a more inconsiderate person, you know? I don't know how many times I've caught him taking the last drop of coffee and leaving without making more.
Maybe he thinks his time is worth. Yeah, and I couldn't even get through that sentence.
No kidding. But no, his excuse was even better. If I made more coffee, he'd probably all get bean poisoning.
Bean poisoning.
Right? That's not a thing. If you're going to be a jerk, own up to it. Be a jerk about being a jerk. Don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, no point sweetening jerk coffee. Would you characterize him as unlucky?
I'd characterize it as karma, but yeah, for sure. You'd want to ask Bast about that, though. He's made a study of it.
Fast?
Researcher LeBlanc.
Research comment. Of course. We couldn't read an audio thing of that. I just have to imagine it. They were clearly blushing. Subject, Bastien LeBlanc. Research Assistant, Replication Studies, Site 43. Haven, would you like to take Researcher
Yes.
LeBlanc?
And sorry for not muting in time. It
No,
was a
yeah.
surprise.
It's fine. It's fine. I suppose Ms. Rollingan, Gabby thinks you've got the scoop on Vettel.
Why are you talking like a 50s newsboy?
Here to tell you about his luck anomaly.
He's come clean to Etra for the amnesty. Oh wait, damn it, sorry.
It's fine, it's fine.
What's yours?
You know, after silently condemning me, you have a lot of nerve to make any requests of me, Fremen. And that one we write out regardless. Right, sorry. Where was we? He's come clean to Etra for the amnesty.
I kind of didn't believe that was for real, and he's a lot more cynical than me, so he must have been really freaked out.
Does he have reason to be?
I think so. He thinks he's a bad luck magnet. God rituals to make sure luck doesn't rub off on anyone else.
He told me about that. Do you think it's plausible?
All I know is he's worried about it.
Your girlfriend doesn't think he worries about other people at all. Researcher LeBlanc looks embarrassed. He have any problem with his employees dating?
It's only been a month, but he's never mentioned it. Why would he? He can be a jackass, sure, but he's not cruel.
You actually like the guy, don't you?
Yeah, I kind of do. He's stuck in a bad pattern and he's trying to break out of it. He's not all that bad once you get to know him.
I've known him for 20 years, kid. Maybe you don't know him well enough. He's spent that entire time talking himself up, trying to get noticed, trying to outdo everyone around him, and it's never worked out. Now he's too old to change.
I think he has changed. He hasn't been doing any of that for months. If anything, he's been avoiding attention, trying to keep under the radar. What if you've been misjudging him for 20 years?
What if he's been misjudging himself?
What's that supposed to mean?
Has his bad luck ever rubbed off on you?
How would I even measure that?
Well, could you say your luck's been bad or good since you transferred here?
I guess it's been pretty good.
Yeah, your girlfriend seems nice. Okay, replication studies keeps the accident logs, right? For the whole site.
Right.
Who's logging this week?
Me, actually.
How many accidents have you logged?
None as of yet.
Haven't put reports in?
Haven't gotten any reports. I'm just now hearing how that sounds.
Don't beat yourself up about it. Absent trends are the hardest to spot. On the back of these interviews, Dr. Skolsky approached Dr. Dan Redacted, Director of ETRA, with an experimental proposal involving SCP-7000 and Dr. Weddle. The probabilistic breakdown continued to progress, with effects felt most keenly by the paranormal community. Again, we can rotate through items, starting with Sloth's Pit, Wisconsin, in X-18, ceases to operate according to the rules of narrative logic, and X-18's prime effect being the effectively probabilistic in nature, the exploitation of tropes in literary devices consistently producing desired effects. This reduced Sloth's Pit to the status of an average Midwestern American town. Reactive action. Nexus occlusion measures continue in the expectation SCP-7000 will eventually be neutralized and this effect reversed. Counseling provided by Site-87 staff to affected civilians and myth figures in the area. Evan?
Yeah. Item. Senior Associate at Marshall, Carter and Dog Limited killed in a folding couch accident. Reactive action. None taken. Folding couch accidents, though uncommon, do occur naturally.
Item. Earthquake in Antarctica. The least earthquake-prone continent on Earth. Epicentral investigation uncovers a buried Chaos Insurgency firebase. All 53 personnel dead of asphyxiation. Reactive action. Evacuation for future use.
Dr. Dan presented a brief to the O5 Council on the 16th of July. Of March Command O5 Council Minutes. Excerpt begins. We've got a few O5s to choose from here. I think probably one person should just cover them all if they're inclined to. Or you can issue it entirely and I'll do my best regardless. Or maybe one of you would like to take the role of Dr. Dan.
It looks like for the most part the O5s are split up enough, except for kind of the end, in which case we could perhaps alternate between them.
That's an excellent solution. We'll just alternate
We can go
arbitrarily
odd
from
and even.
O5s.
We can go odd and even, so one is then, one is odds, and one is evens.
That would work, although it does look like there's a bit more odds than evens, but either way.
Look, I'm going to just throw out here, I don't think there's a chance in hell any of us, including the audience, is going to remember which O5 is which anyway. So
True.
I cover Dr. Dan, and you two just alternate on whatever O5 happens to be battling at the time. Strictly speaking, as O5s, their voices would be occluded, for security reasons anyway, so I think it works.
Oh, sure.
I'll try to make the stupidest voices for all of them.
Excellent idea. Excellent. I'll start with Dr. Dan. We have to do something about this. It's simply not sustainable. We've got butterflies causing super typhoons in the South China Sea. And we've got the asshole decided to be fun experimenting irons at 06. We got black cats, mirrors, and ladders changing the arcs of people's lives out there. We had to task 2.AICs with sniping eBay auctions because, I don't know if you noticed, everybody always labels everything rare on eBay, and suddenly everything is rare, unless it should be. There were 15 auctions for a piece of toast with Jesus' face burned into them when I got up this morning, and only 3 of them were faked. Procurement liquidation reports that every agent who goes to a garage sale now comes home with a handful of anomalies. Half the kittens in the world are being born polydactyl, 6 or more toes in each foot. And we're going to have to brainwash the entire scientific establishment and believe in some bogus argument about atmospheric factors explaining it away. That or a lot of cats are back in the bag and the bag into one hell of a deep, dark river.
Quite the preamble. Was it worth wasting precious time you could have spent pressing us to a solution?
Yes, absolutely, because here's the thing about that, Bramble. Not everything I've just told you about is strictly probabilistic. Polydactyly is a heritable mutation. Rare items for sale, I'm not talking about the juice bread here, have nothing to do with random chance. Probability doesn't make valuable objects. Man-made valuable objects start existing where they didn't exist before. And hen's teeth? That just doesn't happen at all inside a lab.
We didn't even mention hen's teeth.
I've mentioned about 500 other things either.
But what you're saying is this isn't actually a probability crisis.
No, definitely is that. It just isn't entirely that. Everyone who ate that potentially dead blowfish yesterday lived. Everybody who ate it today died. Dice come up snake eyes today after 24 hours of natural 6s or 20s, or whatever the max is. So many people are catching shiny Pokemon. I would explain what that is, thanks to my staff, but you shouldn't care. That we've had to knock out Nintendo's online services, every fan site, and a few Reddit communities to avoid the word getting round. We've had to slot agents to every extent gaming commission to manipulate their numbers, or where possible just close casinos entirely on the pretext that's too dangerous to operate them during COVID.
Which it is.
Which it is. So that's lucky. Meaning the disease will probably drop tomorrow and we'll need to find a new excuse. It didn't even take in Vegas, so we had to go back here still. Sat 666 brokered a deal with the Under Vegas demons to run fixed games on the strip, tied the fact that honest gambling, to the extent that such a thing exists, straight up doesn't work anymore. They were, and I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear. Thrilled to hell. But that's just a band-aid solution. And since you're gonna absolutely hate my short but little longer term fix, I need to make it clear that we're dealing with an extremely complex constellation of strictly probabilistic and superstitious luck elements. Effects, which we're calling one anomaly, for lack of a better explanation.
All right, well, rip the band-aid off then. What's your terrible solution?
Every probabilistic anomaly in the SCP database. It's how the data's doing now. We're operating wildly outside the established parameters as of now. Every single one. That won't be the case when, with your permission, I update the SCP-7000 file to include Dr. William Whittle.
Who's Dr. William Vettel? Did you say Vettel? That's a real name?
He's a low-life lifer. Psi-43, you've got very little reason to know who he is. But at this time, he's potentially the most important employee we have. He just self-identified as a serial loser. And experimental data backs it up. This guy literally cannot ever catch a break, which is sad. But what isn't sad is this. He's the only probabilistic anomaly still ticking over.
You are certain?
Absolutely.
Do you know why?
Absolutely not. We haven't had time to study him. All we have is this data to go on and a hunt from a deputy, but that data is extensive. Wet Willie lacks the imagination to lie, and my deputy knows his shit. And as of this moment, Dr. William Weddle is the only reliable probability factor on the planet Earth.
Good lord. And what can that do for us?
On the face of it, not much, but if he had good luck, well, obviously we could use that, but bad luck, we could let him get corrupted by some group of interests or another, have him fuck them up with his good intentions, but that's a very limited utility in a very wide problem field.
Yes, let's not do that.
If the guy's just plain unlucky, him personally, it's nothing better than a baseline for predictable probability.
Obviously, you think it might be something more.
I do indeed. There are two theories, Weddle's own and Dr. Skolsky's. Here's what Weddle thinks. Bad luck clings to him like an ontokinetic cloud. The universe takes any opportunity to get a cheap shot in on him. And if he gets an overload, he can bleed into his surroundings and cause chaos. This mostly fits with the observed facts.
Dr. Sokolsky's hunch goes deeper, I presume.
A lot deeper. Based on his initial interviews with Weddle's colleagues, he had the analytics department compare negative probable events from every facility since 7K started. Here's what they discovered. Site 43 is the luckiest place on Earth right now. They're still seeing random luck effects, but only good ones. So Sokolsky had them pull the older data. And while there's going over everything, it looks like a general trend. Allowing for the occasional unavoidable cataclysm, Site 43 has always been one of the luckiest places on Earth. And I think that's because of Dr. Weddle.
You don't think his bad luck wears off? You think everyone else's wears off on him?
Precisely. And unavoidable, unpredictable bad luck is presently our biggest issue in dealing with the effects of 7000. We rush in to fix one problem and encounter 3 more on the way. I want to use Dr. Weddle as a stabilizing agent for our spot treatments. Put together a mobile task force, band them to it. Let them swoop in to save the day wherever necessary. Call it MTF something 7000, the maximum 7 or whatever.
Not that.
No, definitely not that. Half the Magnificent Seven die.
I'm just spitballing. Logistics can come up with something better. We'll use them for all high-value deployments if possible. To ensure success, 6 expert super soldiers and 1 walking time bomb. Let him walk around soaking up all the bad karma, while our boys and girls get the job done regardless of probabilistic bullshit. I call it Operation Black Swan.
It's nice to know you had the time to name all these things, what with the world falling apart around us.
Not give them names bad luck, sir. And I'm operating the assumption that at some point fortune will smile on us again. I have a theory about that too, but I'd rather not go on record at present. Don't want to jinx myself since, well, you know.
I'll allow it. What's your theory?
Redacted.
You can't be serious!
Of course he can. Ask him what that slide he's been pointing at the entire time is.
I'd assume it was some sort of chaos theory, heat map projection.
I'd assume he was going to explain it, eventually.
Did I not? Sorry. It's my breakfast. Every egg in my house has 2 yolks now. The point is, this is going to affect every aspect of our lives for long. And that means I'm as serious as I've ever been in my life about potential solutions.
I think we know enough to be getting on with. We will put your Black Swan to a vote. I move to accept. All in favor?
Short story. Yeas win. 2 nays. And 2 abstains. Thank you for your time. You won't regret this.
The success to failure ratio of this particular statement is
Presently up in the air, like everything else, with respect, sir. Except ends. Dr. Dan and Dr. Skolsky immediately began preparations for Operation Black Swan. As the probability collapse continued, Captain Andrea Adams assembled 5 of her top-performing agents to fill out the ranks of MTF Theta 7000 Fortunate Sons, and began a rigorous training period. Despite possessing advanced survival instruction as a consequence of his existing esoteric containment duties, Dr. Weddle scored significantly lower than the previous bottom percentile on all mobile task force training metrics. The acceleration of SCP-7000 phenomena nevertheless necessitated the denial of repeated requests to be relieved of this new duty, as well as similar requests on his behalf by Captain Adams. And here we have another analytics department report. Item: steady increase in amounts of chickens born with monophyodontic dentition. Reactive action: creation of a thread on the conspiracy website parawatch.org suggesting the phrase rare as hen's teeth refers not to a scientific impossibility, but instead a hereditary mutation which the proliferation of genetically modified organisms in modern farmscapes has reawakened. Theory saturates the globe due to predatory news aggregators within a week.
Item: 3 Chaos Insurgency infiltrators captured attempting to gain access to Site 91. Step 22 out of 624 of their step compilation details an up-to-date schema of security patrols. One patrol's route significantly delayed when all 5 officers discovered pebbles in their footwear and stopped to remove them, leading to a confrontation with no Foundation casualties. Reactive action: patrols increased at large containment facilities, resulting in 11 further captures and 6 terminations.
Item: SCP-4040, namesake of Sloss Pit, Wisconsin, transformed from a bottomless pit to a pit of variable depth. Reactive action: as the only civilians aware of the pit's former nature are already residents of the Nexus. Response limited to active monitoring at this time. Site 87 Thermaturgist Dr. Catherine Sinclair and Dr. Montgomery Reynolds remain stationed at the pit with radio equipment and supplies for long-term occupancy.
Despite the misgivings of his captain, Dr. Weddle was declared officially fit for combat on the 30th of July. Theta 7000 were deployed to attempt insertion into Firebase 5, a Chaos Insurgency facility uncovered via the accidental encoding of its location on a cognito-hazardous carrier wave directed at Site-01. No previous attempt had been made to exploit this information, as the SCP-7000 effect was expected to nullify the professional advantage of Foundation agents enjoy over Chaos Insurgents. It was therefore deemed the likeliest test case for Dr. Weddle as a field asset. Operation Black Swan's first mission took place on the 3rd of August. Mission transcript: MTF Theta 7000 Fortunate Sons. We have Captain Andrea Adams, Dr. William Weddle, Agent Daria Osweiss, Agent Brandon Bruce, Agent Seongjin Han, Agent Nastya Koslova, Agent Murad Kulyev. Transcript begins that 7000 approached the operational zone in their modified Chinook helicopter. In this case, I might suggest that we employ Weddle and Haven and I alternate on the rest of the agents.
Sure.
I've been looking ahead of this and trying to remember which voice I used for Weddle after that 05 fiasco.
I think whatever you choose, it will surely work. I think you had sort of a nerdy weakling voice. Not soon. But feel free to go with whatever he feels best. I suppose I will start. Sound ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
I don't want to be here.
Ready?
Ready.
Already.
Already. Go ahead.
You know, maybe we just... Hey, there's an idea. How about we just do them all at the same time?
Yeah. No, that's a bad idea.
That is 7,000 Raffle Rooftop. Adams, Britt, Chico, O'Reilly, Tanner, and Lee land without incident. Locke twists his ankle.
Shit! Fuck!
Breach.
Breaching! Tanner sits explosive on the roof as the team heads for cover behind an exterior air conditioning unit. Locke leans on Lee for support. Their helmets strike, and Locke is momentarily dazed.
Get down!
Adam pulls Locke behind the air conditioner. Locke scrambles and falls, losing one combat boot as the breaching charges detonate. Get his damn boot on!
I'll do it, mate!
Sorry, not taking that chance. Get his damn boot on.
Lee replaces Locke's boot. All set, kiddo!
Piss off.
Positions!
That is 7,000 take positions around the new ingress point to the roof. Clean cut, good work.
Thanks.
A sudden crack appears at the edge of the aperture, and a portion of the roof Locke is standing on collapses. He falls into the structure. Did we lose Locke already?
Move in now.
That is 7,000 into the facility via the aperture, which has not collapsed further. Lee finds Locke sprawled on top of a presumed Chaos Insurgent, who is now unconscious. Guess your name means something after all.
I don't want to do this.
That is 7,000 now standing in access quarter. There are red flashing lights and semi-spherical globes on the ceiling, illuminating 2 rows of doors, some open, some closed. Adams gestures, and the team begins checking each door.
O'Reilly?
On it! O'Reilly locates a wall panel and pulls on various components until the wires are exposed. He retrieves an electronic tool from his belt and carefully affixes the leads to it. Locke twists his other ankle as O'Reilly checks the readout.
Jesus, fuck!
All clear ahead, Cap.
I had 3 different gas systems ready to go, if you can believe it. All disabled now. Got a schematic that traps ahead, too.
How many?
It's the CI, boss. Over 100 in the next few rooms alone. I shut down everything that triggers remotely. Just watch your step and you should be fine.
Alright, moving on, people.
That 7,000 proceeds down the hall at brisk pace. Locke runs to catch up and falls flat on his face twice. The third time, he turns in midair, landing on his back. He is unable to right himself. Hold! Lee retrieves Locke as Adams begins to examine a metal strip embedded in the floor, grouting.
Wired for current. How'd you miss that, O'Reilly?
Sorry, Cat, wasn't on the schematic.
Fucking CI. Good thing it wasn't active.
Adams glances at Locke. Locke sneezes.
I can't see.
That is 7,000. Head on to the end of the corridor. The door is ajar. Cover. That is 7,000. Take cover either side of the door. Locke crouches down behind Lee. Both microphones capture the sound of fabric tearing.
God damn it!
A series of gunshots ring out, striking the door frame. The team is positioned such as no round finds its mark.
Dazzle!
Lee throws a flashbang grenade through the door. Heads down! Locke begins to sneeze again. His head is raised when the grenade detonates.
Forward!
That is 7,000 enters the next room, a wide T-junction. Locke continues to scream and struggles to his feet.
I can't fucking see!
That is 7,000 subdues 5 insurgents in tactical area with minimal expenditure of ammunition. Locke staggers along the wall behind them, occasionally walking directly into it with muffled curses. Where's the main breaker?
Judging by the power draw profile, probably on a lower level.
We need to find some stairs. Locke walks through a door and directly into the waist-high railing of a wide, well-lit stairwell.
Oof.
Locke pitches over the railing and falls.
We lost him again.
That is 7,000 rush in the stairwell, foregoing operational caution to retrieve the asset. Locke's belt has caught a lower railing and he's hanging with his pants half down.
I don't want to be here.
Get him loose! That is 7,000 explore the stairwell and attached hallway as Lee detaches Locke's belt. Locke falls to the floor.
I wanna go home.
Is your home child-proofed?
Suck my...
Gunfire resumes. Theta 7000 take defensive positions and return fire. Looks like 2 fire teams capped stuck in good.
Which way is the breaker?
O'Reilly quickly checks his device, then scans the halls. He points. Take Luck and Lee. We'll hold them off.
I don't...
Shut
the fuck
up.
up. Oh, sorry. That was your line. My bad.
It works for both.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the whole team would just yell that to him.
Yeah. The poor guy, though.
Adams, Britt, Tanner, and Chico provide cover fire as O'Reilly, Lee, and Luck take the indicated door and rush along a new passage. The sound of gunfire recedes. O'Reilly notices a wall-mounted electrical panel. Here we go. O'Reilly trips a series of circuit breakers. A distant groaning sound can be heard.
Front door's opening. Send in the cavalry.
Adams responds over helmet comms. They're jamming our signal.
Damn it! I can't do jack from in here. Ops outside might be able to crack the code, but there's a lot of luck involved in those CI ciphers.
Luck reaches into his helmet to scratch his nose. He is unable to remove it again.
Ow!
We've got a signal. Control, this is Adams. Said in ASVs, expect heavy resistance. We'll give cover. Adams, Britt, Tanner, and Chico advance on the insurgents. O'Reilly suddenly sneezes, removing his hand from the circuit breaker at the moment it begins to spark and catch flame. Luck, in attempting to remove his hand from his helmet, has lodged his index finger in one nostril.
That was a close one.
Ceiling mountain sprinklers briefly activate, then cease. There's a flash and a muffled explosion beneath their feet. What was that? Get back here, pronto! Lena Riley headed back down the hall. Luck trips on a loose floor tile and tumbles through a plate glass office window.
Oh, for fuck's...
There's a loud crashing sound from the office. Luck now occupies. Lena Riley rush to the broken window to see that the floor is caved in again. And Luck is gone. Must have overloaded the sim system in the floor. Breaker blue. Lee jerks a thumb towards where the remainder of Theta 7000 are engaging the insurgents.
That stairwell goes down at least one more level.
O'Reilly sighs. The 2 agents return to the hall. Their teammates have pushed into the attached atrium and are trading fire with insurgents now boxed in by more agents advancing the entrance. Gonna grab the other trash box.
Give him a pat from me. Tell him he's a good boy. Britt, go with them.
Britt, O'Reilly, Lee cautiously head down the stairs to the bottom level, then proceed along the attached hallway until they reach a large storage facility. Luck is visible in the center, dazed, headed towards a door on the far wall. One insurgent is standing by, rifle trained on him. Shit.
I got this.
Britt advances the room, taking cover behind wooden crates and steel shipping containers. As the insurgent raises his weapon to shoot Luck, Britt springs out of the shadows and slits his throat at the precise instant the door opens, and a second insurgent appears, rifle at the ready.
Bad luck.
The roof collapses. The insurgent is struck by a piece of falling masonry, crushing his helmet and presumably his skull. Luck is covered in debris. Shit, Luck, you alright?
I hate...
Luck swallows his helmet microphone and begins to choke. Transcript ends. Aftermath. Firebase 5 was taken with minimal foundation casualties. Dr. Weddle was treated for a broken collarbone. No other member of Theta 7000 sustained serious injury. Chaos Insurgency losses total 37 individuals incapacitated or killed, and 1 major supply and repair depot now under Foundation control. 7 stolen SP objects, multiple vehicles employing paratechnical components, and 3 prisoners recovered on site. Analytics Department review of shoulder camera footage reveals the near absence of anomalous probability factors in the atrium firefight, suggesting that Dr. Weddle did in fact absorb all of SP-7000's effects over the course of the operation. In the interim between missions, SP-7000 continued to take its toll. Analytics Department report. Press item. 7 Chaos Insurgency infiltrators captured installing explosives at Site 120. All 7 attempted to destroy their step compilations before capture. 1 was unable to do so, as their portable lighter would not produce flame. Surviving step compilation carried the impression of handwriting, presumably from a note written on top of it on a separate piece of paper. Reactive action. Handwriting decryption leads to discovery of an insurgency safe house in Poland and the detention or neutralization of a cell of 23 individuals.
Item SCP-3856-1, the multiversal iteration of researcher Samuel Lloyd, residing in baseline reality, chokes on a ham sandwich and expires. Reactive action. SCP Foundation placed on high alert for the imminent escalation of the present K-class scenario, ending with the termination of all life on Earth. The inevitable result of any universe's loss of its iteration of researcher Lloyd. No change in the scenario's course noted thus far.
Item: 3 senior Mechanite priests, 1 for each primary faith, killed in freak Murphy bed accidents. Per the Triumvirate Accords, expressions of sympathy made on behalf of Overwatch Command and funeral costs partially defrayed.
After a brief recuperative period, Dr. Weddle was cleared for active duty again, and Beta 7000 was officially commissioned. A series of missions over the following weeks served to mitigate the worst of SP-7000's veil-threatening elements, though the search for a permanent solution remained ongoing. A digest of representative operations is appended below. Operation 7004. Situation: attack on depot systems at Outpost 316 by Serpent Sand agents. Intervention: Beta 7000 repelled the attackers while technicians attempted to reverse thaumaturgical damage and corrupted code. Dr. Weddle supervised. Outcome: only minor difficulties encountered. Operation declared successful. Dr. Weddle sustained a variety of minor injuries: stubbed toe 2, chipped tooth 1, broken collarbone 1, broken fingernail 7, herniated disc 2. On-site paramedical services returned him immediately to active duty. Debriefing: due to recalcitrance on the part of Dr. Weddle, researcher LeBlanc was appended to the task force to conduct the assets debriefings. Partial transcript appended below. I believe LeBlanc was what was he?
Yeah.
But I didn't do anything.
They estimate the damage code involved some 7 million independent variables. Every one of them was a minute but extant threat to the success of the repair process. You stopped them from going off. You saved the computer system, carrying more information than...
I didn't do anything. So, they got me a handler.
I prefer to think of myself as an agent.
If you were an agent, I'd fire you.
If you were my client, I'd get you fired.
I know you would, kid.
Except Operation 07007. Situation: expert defusal of an improvised thermonuclear bomb in the free port of 3 Portlands by the Unusual Incidents Unit. Intervention: joint action. The SP Foundation via the presence of Dr. Weddle. Exhausted from an earlier operation that same day, Dr. Weddle attended in his sleep via the provision of an army cot. Outcome: post-defusal investigation revealed 3 separate anti-tampering measures on hair triggers which had not been tripped. Dr. Weddle swallowed 3 flies during the operation. UIU representatives and Dr. Dan agreed the technician would not be informed of this correlation. Debriefing.
Great.
Partial transcript appended below.
I did what?
You mean about the
I mean about the bomb!
Except hins. Operation 07013. Situation: O5 Council required escort to classified location on the Asian subcontinent. Intervention: Beta 7000 partnered with NPF Alpha 1, Red Right Hand, to complete the pilgrimage. Outcome: success with no operational complications per regulations. As an active anomaly, Dr. Weddle was kept as far distant from council members as was feasible. Nevertheless, 051 encountered him in compromising positions on 3 separate occasions. Partial transcript appended below.
I don't want to do this.
I know you don't.
The universe has something to say, Bastion, about whether my pants are up or down. It has a lot to say, Bastion, about whether my pants are up or down.
Man, I'm really sorry.
I can't do this anymore. I can't. Don't let that make me.
Okay, I won't. I promise I won't.
What?
Give me a moment. I won't let them make you. You'll miss the next appointment. Let them come get us if they want. What are they gonna do? Shoot a researcher and the goose that lays the golden egg? You get it?
Bastion.
Laying an egg is like for missing.
Bastion, you have one job. What is it? To kick my sorry ass in gear. So do it!
Well, I guess I forgot that geese can bite. After you, Dr. Whittle.
They spit too, so watch the fuck out.
Operation 7027. Situation: SCP-682 breached containment at Site 45 and approached the town of Augusta, Western Australia, during a folk music festival. Intervention: Theta 7000 attempted to recapture the anomaly whilst evading the scrutiny of approximately 1,000 people, including media representatives. Outcome: Dr. Weddle was stationed between the operational zone and the festival. As containment efforts failed and SCP-682 approached, he was forced to move into the crowd. The anomaly was finally disabled within 100 meters of the event, an action nevertheless escaping civilian notice, as their attention was fixed on Dr. Weddle's altercation with a rogue kangaroo. SCP-682 returned to containment without incident, while video footage of Dr. Weddle being kicked into industrial barbecue immediately saturated the internet. How did he get wrecked by kangaroo? Viewed 345,625 times. Nice. Debriefing, partial transcript appended below.
This isn't working.
No, but it's helping.
Dr. Weddle spits. It does not escape his beard. He wipes his face with the lab coat sleeve.
Helping. I'm making an all-time ass out of myself to prolong my own worst nightmare.
You're a hero.
I don't want to be a hero.
You're named after William Wallace, Braveheart, one of the most famous heroes of all time. Where would he have gotten without sticking his neck out for others?
Not famous enough, apparently. He got his neck stretched.
Well, he did get a movie.
A Mel Gibson movie? You call that luck? I don't.
Look, I'm sure they have a backup plan. This will only go on for a little while longer.
Why?
What?
Why are you sure they have a backup plan? When I said this wasn't working, I meant it wasn't working for me. It's working fine for them.
William.
They're gonna roll me up the hill and let me fall back down for the rest of my life. Like Sisyphus. You know that's true.
For one thing, the myth is actually...
Great! Perfect! Change the subject to what a hapless asshole I am. I haven't heard about that for all of 1 hour. Wow, it's like Harry's right here with me. I bet we soaked up enough bad luck for 10 people just now. Hooray!
I didn't mean...
You having fun writing these reports? I've read them. Really tight phrasing there, Bast. Dry comedy. I bet they get a real chuckle around all the water coolers. But you wouldn't know anything about that, right?
I never.
You remember what I told you when you said you wanted to be my friend? Well, now I regret it. So fuck off back to 43 and tell them your next set of funny stories in person.
Silence on recording after a moment. Researcher lip balm cleaves, except ins. And Fremen, please stop imagining the smell of my face. It's unsettling. At this time, Dr. Weddle advanced the theory that SCP-7000 phenomenon was seasonal and would soon dissipate. Analytics department's studies suggest this was unlikely. Dr. Weddle further theorized that the SCP Foundation containment efforts might be responsible as per the discredited allegations leveled by various groups of interest during the SCP-500 crisis. 600. This too was rejected. Whatever the cause, the actions of Theta 7000 did not appear to neutralize or recognize to be worse than the anomaly, merely offsetting its most problematic consequences for the time being. Analytics Department report. Item. Economics. Temporarily reflective of actual reality. Reactive action. None taken. Market will correct itself.
Item. 2 Chaos Uncertainty infiltrators evade capture after attempting to enter Site 79. Chief of Security had changed the daily password on a hunch. Reactive action. 5 days later, Foundation personnel intercept an urgent call for medical aid from a townhouse on the outskirts of Yumigemu, discovering a cell of 12 insurgents violently ill with COVID-19. The agent who encountered the infiltrators at Site 79 had tested positive shortly after the escape. A series of step compilations found in the townhouse outline a grandiose series of sabotages and thefts to be carried out at Japanese facilities. On inspection, each is found to have been individually impractical due to unforeseeable underground exigencies. Or exigencies?
And there's that at the time, it was incredibly rare to be seriously ill from that. So, help us to nominate further.
Item. Bunk theory of manifesting popularized by Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, with no basis in either science or parascience, becomes inexplicably I cannot pronounce that word.
Efficacious.
There we go. Reactive action, none taken. Neither evidence nor the lack thereof have any apparent effect on individual belief in the technique's efficacy. As yes, I've got that one. As before SCP-7000.
On August 24th, an encoded transmission originating from the Chaos Insurgency's hardened mobile array was received by Overwatch Command at Site-01. Though deemed a low priority at the time due to the Insurgency's vastly reduced profile in light of their recent heavy losses, the ensuing conversation did finally present one possible causal explanation for the scenario itself. Overwatch Command 05 Council Minutes. We have an exit beginning here. It's 05s and someone from the Chaos Insurgency. I again suppose we just all pick a line, one after the other, and make up the voices we go.
Yay!
This time around, I would like to volunteer to be the engineer.
You got it. Hazard screening.
Active and proactive.
Very well. Let's hear what he has to say. A white silhouetted face appears on the screen, frontlit by a glowing Chaos Insurgency insignia, which is tacky and unpleasant.
Right. Time's almost up, friends. Do you have a response?
To what? Time almost being up, not as such.
The message. You have less than 1 hour to make your decision.
Should I know?
Oh.
Oh. I thought we were.
I was confused. You're right. Come on.
Should I know what message you're talking about, Redacted? Because I am afraid you have me at a disadvantage.
The engineer pauses.
The ultimatum we delivered you.
Let me put you on hold for a moment.
What game are you playing?
051 got the two-way audio feed.
Any idea what he's on about?
We haven't received a message from the Insurgency in months.
Not unless we're speaking metaphorically.
The engineer's face retreats further in shadow, obscuring his features. I think he means it literally. Anybody else? No. 051 reactivates the two-way audio feed.
Your misguided mission of containment, which you know to be disastrous, and yet...
Sorry, where are you still going? Cut you off there. Do you know we can't see your mouth?
The engineer's silhouette visibly stiffens. So, this is a little embarrassing, but we're pretty sure we never got any message from you at all.
Your vengeance has been particularly intermittent of late.
That always bothered me. The word is intermittent. Why even quote it if you're not going to do it right?
You think this is a good time to stall when you only have minutes to spare?
Redacted, please. We didn't receive any message. When did you send it?
On the day of chaos, the 13th of July.
1307, I'll propose.
Have we any record of suppressed communications the 13th too?
Yes, 13 messages from IP addresses associated with known hackers, and file size and packaging was consistent with random cyber terror attacks originating from the Russian Federation, and as such, the messages were scanned for viral content, returned positive results in each case, and were deleted unread.
What? That's ridiculous! We chose the addresses at random!
Oops.
Oopsie.
We'll send it again. Don't block us this time.
You could just tell.
Engineer into the call. Be like that. 2?
Yes, we received something. The IP address they're spoofing this time belongs to a robocall center in Mumbai, and our antivirus systems return another false positive. I have examined the file personally, and it appears safe to you.
So, it's a video? Suppose we ought to. The holographic video screen in the center of the room flickers to life. The insignia of the Chaos Insurgency is displayed. The engineer's voice begins to speak.
What if the breath that kindled those grim fires, awakened, should blow them into sevenfold rage and plunge us in the fires
Skip.
or in the flames?
The video advances 10 seconds.
Long struggle is at an end. The rotten paste of lies of which the false foundation is composed will finally crumble, and all they have built atop will tumble down to dust. For the first time, the numbers are not on their side. For the first time, the red right hand holds all the cards.
Speed it up.
The video plays at double speed for the remainder of the speech. An artifact image of a large machine appears on the screen.
The Kismet device now exercises total control over the course of fate athwart the globe. All mechanisms of chance and contingency will be irrevocably broken. The suffocating veil of the enemy will fall away, and the truth will be known.
Ramble's always so damn long.
There is, however, an alternative. A means of preserving the long night you have cast over mankind entire. Surrender your seats to the red right hand. Return your loyal soldiers to the fold. Become that which you were meant to be. Remember your great purpose, and admit the righteous victory of the Chaos Insurgency.
The insignia returns.
You will respond by midnight on August the 24th, in the year of our crusade, 2022, or we will know the reason why, and you will know the meaning of misfortune. Hereafter, we of the Delta Command and the engineer of the insurgency await your swift response. Capitulate or be swept aside.
The video listens.
Bullshit.
The Kismet device looks especially like the CMS muon detector of the Large Hadron Collider.
What's their operational status versus us since LK started?
Estimate of over 200 personnel dead, catastrophic loss of equipment facilities, complete disarray.
Field victories?
Not a one.
They've escalated to open warfare and desperation, and our folks are their betters across the board. It's a foregone conclusion to the extent that those still exist these days.
Well, I'm glad we didn't get this message on the 13th then. That was...
Don't.
I was going to say fortuitous.
Still don't.
But yes, if they're in control of the situation, they've got a funny way of showing it.
Should we call them back?
Let's not. Except him. The engineer's explanation for SCP-7000 was filed for further study, despite the apparent passing of the deadline presented in his ultimatum. However, the character of the LK scenario did not appear to change in the coming days. Analytic Department's report. Item: 7-year-old Stephanie Bellinger of Lyon, France becomes the world champion in chess, having begun playing for the first time on 07/07/22. She has never lost a game. Reactive action. Further investigation reveals that Bellinger is the grandchild of Dead Expunged. Encouraged to pursue the game at this time due to Dead Expunged knowledge of the LK class event. Dead Expunged was also responsible for moving the event up from its next planned occurrence in 2023, and his granddaughter's unorthodox inclusion on the roster. Due to Data Expunged seniority, matter has not been pursued further.
Item. Predictive meteorology becomes ineffective beyond the existing alterations to atmospheric noise. Reactive action. None taken. Changes escape public notice at this time, which is hilarious.
Item. Site-41, occupied by Chaos Insurgency. The periodic and unpredictable amnestic effect plaguing all facilities and personnel relating to the Anti-Memetics Division strikes the insurgents full force during their occupation. Disoriented, they exit the site and are immediately detained by guards stationed at the perimeter. Reactive action. Foundation researchers repeatedly attempt to further weaponize this anomaly, but are immediately afflicted by the same condition in each case.
Having been relieved from his post with the Theta 7000 by Dr. Weddle, researcher LeBlanc began a personal investigation into the LK class scenario at this time. After consultation with Dr. Blank, he visited Dr. Weddle's elderly parents in their home at the Foundation-operated retirement village of Sunset Cove, Pensacola, in the American state of Florida, on the 24th of August, 2022. Interview log, officer record, researcher LeBlanc. Subjects, Mindy and Simon Weddle, civilians retired. Excerpt begins. Researcher LeBlanc is sitting in the living room of a single-story post-war ranch house with the Weddles.
Oh, I would love to play Mindy Weddle if you would like to take Simon.
I will call Simon, and I suppose LeBlanc may reprise the role.
Yes. Did you ever get the impression your son was carrying some sort of burden?
Of course. You know William, always thinking about others.
LeBlanc Weddles watch in silence. Something funny?
No, sorry, I was remembering something. Yes, go on.
Like I said, he never spared a thought for himself. Spent all his time fussing over what could go wrong with other people and what he could do about it.
What he had to do about it. He couldn't live with himself if something happened, and he'd pass up the chance to help.
I think it started in his 20s. My brother died in 75 and...
No, Simon, it wasn't that. It started much, much earlier, when I was sick.
Sick?
Lung cancer. They didn't expect me to make it. Willie was only 12 at the time.
You're right. That's when it started. He'd stay up at night, praying.
He never struck me as a particularly religious guy.
I don't think it was religious. I think... no.
Minnie Whittle taps her temple in irritation.
I can't quite get at it. The destination is there, of course, but the bridge is out.
I don't remember any praying.
I have some medicine with me to help you remember, if you're interested.
You mean monastics?
How did you...
We've taken them before. Back in... God, it was ages ago. They were checking up on William after some accident at work, asking if it could have been his fault, if he was reliable. They wanted to know everything about him.
I think about those monastics a lot, when I can remember. There's irony, boy. Imagine how much good they could do in a place like this.
One of our friends doesn't remember her own children. She remembers me because we go back further than that. I tried to tell her about the domestics once, but I can't. The words won't come.
Something to do with where you work, where William works.
Yes, sorry about that, and I'm sorry I can't tell you more, but it's not my secret to reveal, and Dr. Weddle wouldn't want to put you in any danger. In fact, I think this is all that needs to that need to protect people you were talking about. He's trying to protect everyone, and I don't think he even really knows what from. I can't ask him, but
You can ask him, alright? For William, I'll do it. But you have to promise me something first.
if I can.
You can. Promise you'll talk to him. Promise you'll tell him to think for himself from time to time.
Well,
Yeah, yes. Yes, I think I can manage that.
and I really shouldn't be opting for these cheese grater on the throat voices. That's I just got
Yeah, that's-
I really don't. Right. Following his return to Site 43, researcher LeBlanc attempted to make contact with Dr. Weddle. The latter disregarded the former's entreaties and, at any event, was rarely present due to the repeated deployments with Beta 7000. On the 26th of August, after his 60th operation with Beta 7000, Dr. Weddle abandoned his post. He is recovered almost immediately by MTF 543, garbage in, garbage out, having failed to either disable the tracking devices installed on his personal telephone or turn the device off entirely. He had recorded the following video during his brief period AWOL. The camera view is zoomed in close to Dr. Weddle's face. He appears to be out of doors in the dark, and adequate color correction filters are enabled.
So, this is it. I'm putting my damn foot down.
Dr. Weddle shifts, as though stamping his foot. His expression darkens. He looks down, then back up, in obvious irritation and disgust.
You're probably going to lobotomize me when you get this message. I get that. I don't blame you. Actually, let me Google lobotomies for a second.
Dr. Weddle's hand obscures the camera as he presumably scrolls his screen.
No, but what does it do? Fuck shit app?
He continues to scroll.
Oh, come on. Can't fucking find anything these... No. Yeah. Okay. Apathy. That sounds nice. So when you do that, I'll get it. Maybe I'll be a funnier clown when I don't even give a shit that it happened or that it's happening to me. But I can't keep tripping on my dick so the universe can laugh. This can't be the rest of my life.
Dr. Weddle drops the device. It takes 2 attempts for him to pick it back up.
It's not like I liked the way my life was going before. This is just more of the same. A lot of the same. A replication study straight out of hell. You know, when I joined up back in '98, the director told me something like, "Our world is filled with hidden terrors. Strange..." Okay, my memory is crap. And I wasn't really listening. But it was something like stranger stuff than you could possibly imagine. He wanted me to know what I was getting into. I told him it didn't matter. That the shit I'd seen was already strange in a real bad way. And I was looking forward to seeing the scary stuff. And you know what happened?
Dr. Weddle shakes his head. His glasses fall off. He retrieves them.
I found out that scary stuff isn't always different from stupid stuff. And I guess that makes sense. The scary stuff comes out of our fears, our everyday bullshit, and a little bit of everything in the world is already stupid. Why would the scary stuff be any different? I just didn't expect that all the weirdness I'd be seeing would be so fucking dumb. Everybody thinks it's funny what happens to me. It's not funny, and I guess I thought it would end when I joined up. I thought I could replace my bullshit with yours, but it just all ended up in the same pot, and now the pot's filling up, and it's coming over the edge, and I'm too old to learn how to mop. I don't know where the metaphor is going.
Dr. Weddle purses his lips.
I'm too old for a lot of things. They never get tired of reminding me.
Dr. Weddle drops the device. He's able to retrieve it with only 1 attempt, though he is forced to bend over again to retrieve his glasses for the second time.
Replication studies. The entire point is that once you know something's true, you can damn well stop repeating it. But this fucking shit show went on for well past the point of scientific proof. I figured fate just wanted me to give up, you know? So I gave up. And it got fucking worse! So what am I supposed to do? Wave at everybody as they pass me by? Wait up for them like I'm their goddamn mom? And die the death of 1,000 stubbed toes for my trouble? Let's fucking fuck!
Dr. Whittle stares on the screen for several seconds.
I didn't even get to be the anomaly. I'm not the main character in my own story. I put in my dues all this time, and what's my big break? How do I get to save the day? A goddamn treadmill, Buster Brown. Buster Brown, is that right? Doesn't matter. Point is, this isn't how I wanted to be remembered. But you don't get to decide that, do you? Everybody else does. And everybody else is an asshole.
Dr. Whittle shakes his head.
I'm 54 years old, and I've been a joke for I don't know how long. Most of the time. And I'm done with it. I know it's selfish, but you're going to have to find some way to fix this shit that doesn't involve me. I'm going to do the only thing I can do. I'm going to end it all.
Dr. Whittle taps the screen and the view shifts rapidly. He has presumably placed the device in his pocket after unsuccessfully attempting to cease filming. The view returns suddenly to Dr. Whittle's face.
Okay, that came out wrong. I meant I'm gonna run away. I just heard how it sounded in my head. Alright, running away. For real now.
Dr. Whittle's face is suddenly illuminated by bright lights. Footsteps can be heard approaching.
Ah, shit.
Dr. Whittle was remanded to the custody of the Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority. Dr. Dan requested his transportation to Area 08C for debriefing. Debriefing log, also record, Dr. Dan redacted, Director Vetra, subject Dr. W. Whittle, Replication Studies, Site 43. Dr. Dan and Dr. Whittle are standing in Foundation Mission Control. Technicians are monitoring all Foundation probes, stellar phenomena, and civilian satellites or space flights. Dr. Richard Barnard is overseeing operations from the rear. It's time you had a little perspective, I think. Take a wider view.
Show, don't tell.
Well spoken for a change. Bring her up.
Her?
The lead technician transfers specific probe feed to the main board. Daiki, watching over us.
What in the hell is that?
The heavens, actually, though no doubt it's hard enough. Her name is Suwal Suwaswar. She stands vigil over the stars and directs our attention to potential threats.
Looks more like she's directing our attention to Chaos Undivided.
What?
Warhammer 40k. They've got a wagon wheel logo. You don't care.
Yeah, not really. But you're not the first person to look at this and think chaos. She normally has a lot fewer arms, and they're usually pointing in specific directions, or, less specific ones. Most of my colleagues are convinced the LK has driven her batty, and she's just acting out of confusion.
I'm guessing life is confusing isn't the big important lesson you brought me here to learn.
No, it's not. I do think our threat compass is on the fritz, but I don't think that's what we're seeing. I don't think this is our equivalent of a blue screen of death.
Hey, did I ever tell you I'm the only guy at the office who can reliably get Windows 10 to blue screen of death?
The point is, I think she's still trying to communicate something to us.
If it's the cardinal directions, someone ought to tell her we already know those.
I think she's pantomiming the Wheel of Fortune.
I'd like to buy a explanation.
The Wheel of Fortune is a tarot card. It represents change, the alteration of one situation, success, fate,
Luck?
luck. It's a reminder that there are intractable, implacable, impersonal forces constricting and constructing our destinies.
Always seemed plenty personal to me.
Good, that's a start. You're taking offense, which is the first step towards treating this as a conversation with the universe. So why not raise the tenor? Make it a positive conversation.
I'm stuck in a loop of bullshit, Dan. If fortune is a wheel, I'm strapped to it, and it's spinning, and everybody is chucking knives at me.
You think you're being punished by your sudden usefulness?
Yes, I do. I liked being useless. Useless people get left alone. You don't know what it's like.
I was in detention for 10 years. I know what it's like to be left alone.
I'd give anything to be a pariah. I'm a laughingstock instead. You can't know what that's like.
While there's silence on recording, greetings, Nightwolf, Double Pop. Glad you could drop by on this extreme overtime SCP review. We're not done yet, but we're getting there. Don't tell, show bye. I blame you, Froman. You wouldn't say that if you knew what was behind the black boxes.
What?
In my name.
Oh, what's with that anyways?
Dr. Dan shrugs. It's a gimmick. I was at Site 19 in the late 2000s. We all had them. Kondraki had his camera and his hat. Daryl drove the way you do everything else.
Clef had a shotgun.
Clef had a shotgun. If they told me I could have a shotgun, I wouldn't have just blackboxed my name.
I bet it's something really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
What would it take for me to weasel it out of you?
Outsmart me. Now I'll drop the tangent. We were discussing your chronic inability to accept the attention of others. Dr. Weddle grimaces.
I've had enough attention for a lifetime. Just once, I'd like to step on a rake without anybody around to point and giggle. I'd just as soon nobody looked in my direction again. Blank and LeBlanc want to get fawned over. That's their business.
Those are two different people?
Might as well not be, from my perspective. Everybody else is charmed, and I'm cursed. I still can't believe it.
What?
I swear to God. 2 months ago, I actually said out loud, it can't get any worse.
Dr. Dan considers. Well, I don't mind telling you. This is the new status quo. We don't see any way out of it. You're going to be working with 7,000 for the foreseeable future. At least till we give up and drop the veil.
Give it to me, and he'll drop in seconds.
Conversation with the universe, remember? Think bigger. Dr. Dan points at the screen again. The messenger of the cosmos is trying to send you, specifically you, a message. And that message is to seize the moment.
You think she's doing hot yoga for me? That's dumb.
Who else would be for? You're the only one this event has singled out. Just you. Nobody else on Earth has that distinction. Atlas activity getting chromatic aberration. We're about to lose the feed from Discover 2.
Back off. We can't afford to lose another one.
Wave goodbye, Dr. Weddle.
She can't fucking see me.
Still, it's only polite. Dr. Weddle sighs and waves the main board as the connection deteriorates before the transmission cuts off entirely. SCP-179 appears to return the gesture with all 8 arms.
What the fuck? You trained her to do that?
She's a lookout, not a watchdog. Still think you're nothing special?
Even anecdotal space evidence is still just anecdotal.
God, you really don't see it, do you? This is your debut in the world stage. You're making a positive change, not just for you, but for everybody. For all we know, it's what you're always meant to do. Destiny.
To fall on my face at the end of the world.
Literally, yes. Metaphorically, you're rising to the occasion. You're the most important person in creation right now, and everybody knows your name.
Great. Everybody knows that I peed myself to prevent an asteroid strike. I'll bet that makes me the toast of the town.
You'd be surprised. People love an underdog. Sympathy leads to empathy, and empathy, well, that can lead to all sorts of complicated relationships. Haven't you been stuck in your simple rut long enough?
Yeah, all the ladies love a man who gets kicked in the groin by a horse, so another man can pull off a sweet slam dunk with a hand grenade.
Exactly. They love sensitive men.
You think I ought to try enjoying this?
What's the worst that can happen? I'm allowed to say that now since the entire human race has lost their tempting fate privileges. Everyone except you.
You think I should embrace this insane nonsense? You really think that?
Think of it this way. Have you ever not been miserable?
No.
Have you ever tried?
Maybe she's doing a clock face.
Clock's a 12-hour marker. She's only got 8 arms now.
Oh, shit! She's a sundial! You get it?
Sundials are just clocks, buddy. Dr. Weddle agreed to return to duty with Theta 7000. Captain Adams reported he appeared calm and resigned to his station. Dr. Dan indicated the O5 Council his plan for neutralizing SCP-7000 was now in motion. The LK-class event nevertheless continued apace for the following 2 days. Representative 6 lead incidents of Trinos Trifolium clover during SCP-7000. Analytics Department report. Item SCP-6263, an anomaly formerly triggering spelling and grammar mistakes in all attempts to point out spelling and grammar mistakes, resumes operation for precisely the amount of time required to precipitate, over the course of 3 days, the incarceration of outgoing United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Reactive action, none taken.
Item: 3 rogue sharks discovered in Martha's Vineyard. Reactive action: capture and release by SCP's vehicles disguised as American Coast Guard, and implementation of a cover story involving filming of the fictitious Jaws 5 return to Amity Island.
We don't need any more Jaws movies.
Fortunately, it's fictional across the board. For now.
Yeah.
For now. Item: thermonuclear. God damn it. Alright, let's try that again. Item: tactical nuclear detonation detected over the unoccupied Auckland Islands in New Zealand. As no conventional launch was detected, Foundation personnel respond to the scene. They discover the remains of the Chaos Insurgency's hardened mobile array burning in Carnley Harbor. Documents recovered from the site attest to an apparently lost step compilation culminating with a nuclear strike on Site-01. Though the state of the wreckage and unfamiliarity with the platform makes precise determinations impossible, Foundation engineers report the likeliest explanation for the apparent accident is a catastrophic launch bay door failure. Further forensic investigation reveals the presence of anomalous components suffused with chronons, antichronons, and tachyons, suggesting the engine itself may have been present on the array at the time of detonation. Reactive action. In the light of its recent loss of material and manpower, the Chaos Insurgency's activity class is reassessed from Level 5 Varmint to Level 2 Cooley. Falling below the Serpent's Hand, each sect of the Church of the Broken God, and Are We Cool Yet, among others for the first time since their respective group of interest classifications.
Can I just quickly say that the words in all caps in the brackets, they're Danish and they're wrong. Well, the second one is wrong.
Okay, fine, you can say.
They're wrong!
Crash site hardened mobile array. Frustrated being stonewalled by Dr. Weddle, researcher LeBlanc confronted him in his quarters on the night of the 28th of August. Excerpt begins. Researcher LeBlanc enters the dorm room. Dr. Weddle is lying on the couch in his underwear.
Ah! I locked that damn door!
LeBlanc?
Oh, sorry, I spaced out. Yeah, I figured you wanted to be alone. So I just hit a bunch of random numbers, and guess what?
Fuck. Yeah, that would work.
So I've been talking to your parents.
What? Why?
Dr. Weddle sits on the couch, banging both knees on his coffee table as he does so. The table collapses.
Because she's stuck in a holding pattern, William, and I wouldn't be a very good friend if I left you there.
I'm a gold medalist at the shitty Friend Olympics. You don't owe me anything. But why my parents specifically?
While I was with the Theta 7000, I got to see a lot of the SCP file. This is my whole life. Has been since I don't know when. If you didn't know, I figured.
Sorry you wasted a trip to fucking Florida of all places. That's what they call a double waste.
It wasn't a waste. Put some clothes on.
Why?
Because there's places in this site where the cameras don't see, but there's public corridors between here and there, and nobody wants to see that.
Researcher LeBlanc gestures at Dr. Bell.
No offense.
How would I not take offense?
Except ends. Dr. Weddle and Researcher LeBlanc exited the former's quarters and proceeded into the achromatic abatement section, escaping the effective audiovisual range of the site's surveillance cameras. On returning to view, Dr. Weddle appeared distraught and agitated. He returned to his quarters alone, pacing for several hours before pushing a variety of random items off of his bed and lying down to sleep. Just after midnight, he began speaking to himself.
It can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. It can't be. SCP-7000-1 is inconsequential and requires no containment. Exactly. That's all there is to it. He's full of shit. He's right, isn't he?
Silence on recording as Dr. Weddle stares at the ceiling for 49 minutes.
Well, what do you want me to say? I've learned my lesson? I'm overflowing with the milk of fucking human kindness here? Fuck you. Fuck you forever. You fucking hear me?
A light fixture detaches from the ceiling and falls, shattering in a hail of sparks as it hits the bed frame.
Yeah, you hear me.
The bed sheets catch fire. Dr. Weddle reported for duty once more the following morning. Captain Adams reported that he seemed refreshed, but also rueful, but also more than a little bit smug, and I don't know why. Updates will be appended as the situation develops further. 05 credentials confirmed. Following pending updates, the SCP-7000 file are classified overseer eyes only. As Dr. Dana predicted, following his debriefing of Dr. Weddle at Area 08C, the SCP-7000 phenomenon gradually decreased in severity. A thorough analytics department canvassing returned the following new probabilistic text on the 29th of August. Item, not identified, reactive action not required. Probabilistic anomalies resumed their prior functionality at staggered intervals over the course of the day. The narrative returned to Index 18. SCP-4040 regained its former depth of bottomless, and SCP-179 demanifested 5 arms before resuming her usual routine of threat identification. The SCP Foundation had suffered 38 casualties over the course of the LK class scenario. Of those killed as a result of the scenario itself rather than direct enemy action, 36 have been posthumously identified as double agents of the Chaos Insurgency. The remaining 2 are under continued investigation. Despite significant global economic reshuffling, structural and material destruction, and immeasurable interpersonal catastrophe, all civilian deaths attributed to SCP-7000 appear to have involved individual moral failing or spectacularly poor decision-making processes. Cover-up operations including smear campaigns against the present generation of mathematicians, fraudulent scientific discourse to account for unusual mutations and atmospheric effects, the creation of the non-existent Sagittarius meteor shower, fabrication of explanations for the total collapse of all futures markets, and the containment of inexplicably resurrected deceased professional baseball player Lou Gehrig with his sudden appearance at Yankee Stadium explained away as an impersonation in bad taste. It will require extensive ongoing maintenance for the foreseeable future. Nevertheless, with the immediate crisis apparently over, Theta 7000 was placed on a definite hiatus and its members returned to their former stations. The Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority internally declared SCP-7000 tentatively neutralized and stood down from priority alert after the autopsy of SCP-38561. Researcher Samuel Lloyd revealed deviant human levels indicating that he was not, in fact, the multiversal iteration belonging to baseline reality, which was therefore unlikely to collapse. The correct iteration was subsequently located alive and in good health in a Chaos Insurgency safe house after a rash of surrenders and defections during said organization's general disarray in the wake of SCP-7000. Official pronouncement of the end of Operation Black Swan is scheduled for the 30th of August. Which, of course, is a fine day. Dr. Dan encountered Dr. Weddle at the Foundation-run food and drinks establishment, Sam's Canadian Pub, in Grand Bend, Ontario, near Site 43, on the evening of the 29th of August. Excerpt begins. Dr. Weddle is sitting at the bar drinking from a bottle of beer. Most patrons are watching television, where a news report is detailing the sudden dispersal of 7 large storm systems from around the globe. There's our willy-nilly, drowning your sorrows.
My sorrows can't swim. I'll bet they could drown me.
Briefly, greetings, Brain Shredder. Yes, I can't stop until the article's over. I knew it was going to take the hour. I wasn't expecting it to take 2, but, it's thematically apt in the weirdest way. Roman. Who has abandoned me? Roman. Where'd you get that one from?
Harry, he writes most of my lines.
Seriously though, how you holding up?
I'm up tight enough for a guy with a knife in his back.
Look.
No, I get it. I'm not mad. This is what you're known for, right? You're the guy who doesn't need to play a game of chess to see how it ends. You know all the pieces. You know how all the pieces move already.
Everyone knows how the pieces move in chess. That's pretty basic.
See? Didn't even miss a beat. That's Dr. Dan.
So, I suppose you figured it out then.
No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. I never figured anything out in my life before the other day. Someone else figured it out for me. And then I figured out they were right. Goddamn replication studies all over again.
Who's that someone?
A friend.
And what did your friend tell you?
That this was all about me from the start. It was all about me. I caused it. This was my crisis.
Did he figure out why?
He did.
You don't mind if I gloat and exposit?
I've had 3 beers. I don't mind much.
It started with Blank's wedding, and your assistant's dating.
It started a long damn time before that.
Sure fine, but it was the romance that set you off. It's a pretty chummy crowd at 43, and it hasn't changed that much while I've been there. But now, they're all pulling away from you, and you lost your shit.
I wanted to make something of myself. I wanted to be someone. I wanted a wife.
Until you thought you were putting her in danger.
And I wanted a family.
Until you thought your bad luck was contagious.
And in the end, I just wanted everything to stay the same. And I couldn't even have that. So yeah, I lost my shit. I really thought my life would turn around at some point. I thought it for 20 damn years. Everybody says I'm slow, but I guess 20 years is my minimum speed.
You decided you were done. You gave up. You were never going to be popular. You were never going to be noticed. You let the universe win.
But the universe wasn't done playing.
You tried to be content with nothing. So your anomaly made you the single most important, invaluable, famous person in the Foundation. In precisely the worst possible way. Because it wasn't what you wanted.
Uh-huh.
SCP-7000 happened because of you.
I don't even want to know what the body count was.
Universally assholes are idiots as far as the AD can tell. And a whole lot of people got a violent wake-up call they won't soon forget. They got a second chance to chart the courses in life because you, indirectly, and that's the key word, indirectly, it's not your fault. It's not like you ever had to control what's happening. Like everything else in your life, it just sort of happened to you. And as soon as you decide you kind of liked it, after our little pep talk, the corner turned again. You're not allowed to enjoy anything that much, right? So it took back everything gave, turned you back into nothing. No offense.
Nothing is one of the nicest things anyone's ever called me. But yeah, sure, that's a sensible explanation.
I'm pretty pleased with it.
You single-handedly tricked me into ending a K-class scenario.
It's what I do.
You didn't, though. Because you're wrong.
Pardon.
A long time ago, I made a pact with the universe to live a sucky life, but not too sucky. And then I forgot, and then I broke it. This was the revenge.
What are you talking about? Exit resumes 15 minutes after Class X Nestic application. We have once again Mindy Weddle and researcher Blanc.
You got a line in there too, don't forget. I remember it like it's happening right now in front of me. It was in our old house on Stockwell Row, back in Korea. I was going to bed. I'd been smoking in the garage. Simon was already asleep. I thought William would be too, but just as I was walking past his room, I heard him whispering to himself.
Can you remember what he said?
I could hear it. He's saying, take anything else you want. Take all my stuff. Take all my friends. Take all my chances. Take everything good and keep it. Just don't take my mom.
Simon Weddle places a hand on his wife's shoulder.
Don't hurt my parents. Hurt me instead. For as long as you want. I can take it. I promise. Please.
Jesus.
Just boy. You shouldn't have had to go through that.
I never smoked again.
Exit 10 minutes.
Turns out, I was talking to the universe for a long time before I met you. I told it to use me as a punching bag, and then I went to sleep. You ever remember those late night thoughts the next day? I don't.
So what? You're a two-time reality bender? Or you prayed to the ceiling and Fortuna heard you?
Something heard me. And it took me up on the offer. It got good value for the next few decades, and then, well, you got one thing right. Everybody else was moving on and up, except me. Everybody else had change in their lives. I wanted that. I needed that. And on some new, unmemorable night, half drunk, lying on my couch in my dorm in my underwear, I asked for it out loud. I didn't even remember until my friend thought to check the security feed.
Let me get this straight. You think you caused your own luck anomaly, and you think you made it worse by breaking the terms, and then what? Deciding you liked it wouldn't fix that problem.
No. Sorry, buddy.
Doc Weddle pats Dexter down on the back.
You're talking to the guy who beat the no-luck scenario because I decided I didn't like it. Didn't like being important at everyone else's expense. You should try introspection sometime. I'm new to it, and it's a rush. So I did something about it. Because it turns out I might be fat and dumb and slow and a magnet for other people's bullshit, but I'm not helpless.
Wait.
I thought this was all happening to me, right? I thought I was stuck, but it was me all along. My life might be fucked up, but it's my life. I'm in control. I set the terms. I just never knew it until now.
Well, are you saying you intentionally set things back to normal? Made your deal with the devil again? You spoke to the ceiling and the ceiling answered?
Pretty much. Your speech did help, though. Too flowery, but the sentiment was nice.
Have you grasped the full implications of this yet?
A lot of things, I guess. What's on your mind?
You and Dr. William Weddle destroyed the Chaos Insurgency.
Every clown has his day.
You're back to mixing metaphors.
Yeah, well, that's one of the perils of writing your own script. Hey, wait, there's another implication too.
Which is what?
I outsmarted you. Well,
Well, what?
what's behind the black boxes? You Huh? I can't hear you.
Daniels! The other patrons turn to look at Dr. Dan, who is now standing with his arms in the air. He glances at them and then sits back down sheepishly.
Daniels.
Yeah.
Dr. Dan Daniels.
Yeah.
Dr. Daniel Daniels.
Yes. Go on, have your guffaw. And Mr. Rewarding, Dr. Weddle licks his hand.
Dr. William Weddle.
Dr. Dan raises an eyebrow and considers Dr. Weddle for a moment before taking his hand and shaking it. I told them you were more than just a gimmick, you know. I wasn't wrong about everything. Dr. Weddle finishes his beer.
So, are you gonna reclassify 7,000 neutralized?
You know what? I think I have a better idea.
Yeah, you shit. I bet you do.
Two individuals take the bar stools besides Dr. Weddle and Dr. Dan. Dr. Blank and Researcher LeBlanc.
Oh, how you losers doing?
Sore.
Who's spying?
Flip you for it.
Dr. Dan presented a brief on the future of the SCP-7000 file to the O5 Council the following day. Overwatch Command O5 Council minutes. Exit begins. We are Dr. Dan and random O5s. Naturally, we can stick with the previous. You can pick this one. We're so close to the end at last. So, that's what I think. We do that and we reclassify the LK scenario as 7000D, and the invisible powers that be should be happy.
You are absolutely certain that these are the explanations that you want on record?
Definitely. Takes all credit away from Weddle, which ought to satisfy the flagellistic urges of this anomaly. And it's not like the CI are in any position to argue. If I'm right, and minus one very embarrassing reason recently I always am, we should never have to go through this ridiculous rigmarole game.
It all makes a certain hideous kind of sense.
I understand the -D proposal, but I'm interested to hear your rationale for the new 7000 file. You don't think this risks tipping the balance back in his favor, causing another crisis?
No, I think the loss of prestige ought to counterbalance it. I've run the whole thing past the analytics department and they concur.
Still, why do it at all? He was never that important. Never will be again.
I think we owe it to him, don't you, for being such a good sport?
Once again, I move we accept in toto. Sound off.
This time, a near unanimous yay, except for abstainers in the form of 057 and 015.
It's been decided. Weddle will go along with this freely.
He'll be happy enough. After all, he had a hand in it. Did you see the new file photo for 7000? Excerpt ends. Per Dr. Dan's request, the SB7000 file will be forked into 2 new database entries. Barebones drafts are presented for review. SCP-7000-D of the confidential containment class decommissioned. Special containment procedures. The remains of SCP-7000-D1 are undergoing investigation at Site 19. Note further containment measures are necessary. Description: SCP-7000-D was a progressive probability failure on the planet Earth during July and August 2022, precipitated by an ontokinetic Egan weapon known as the Kismet device, or SCP-7000-D1. The device was destroyed by the SCP Foundation via tactical nuclear deployment. See Operation Nelson's Revenge for further details. As the effects of the probability failure have subsequently receded, it is presumed that the device's ongoing intervention in baseline reality is required to sustain it. Contact the Analytic Experiment for a full accounting of known and suspected 7000-D effects and occurrences. SCP-7000, Level 2 Restricted, Containment Class, Euclid, Secondary Class, Mehmet, Disruption Class, Connect, Realist Class, Caution, really normal. SCP-7000, On Left and Staff, 2022, timed photograph by subject. Subject: Special containment procedures. SCP-7000 is responsible for its own containment. No experimentation involving this anomaly is authorized without explicit consent of the Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority, or SCP-7000 itself. There is no relationship between SCP-7000 and SCP-7000-D. Description: SCP-7000 is a probability sink concentrating local misfortune on its own person. Dr. William Wallace Witt, Deputy Chair of Replication Studies at Site 43.
Woo! We made it.
Wait, he got demoted? No, that's sad.
He didn't want to be in the spotlight.
True.
And things seem to work best when it's not working all that well out for him. But certainly this has to be a huge upgrade from being sent on missions where you're constantly kicking yourself in the teeth as super secret black ops going on around you.
I don't know. In my opinion, that operation went fairly well.
For everyone else but him. The overall thing went pretty well, and certainly he seems to be a lot more at peace, and hopefully might be surrounded by people who don't just hate him for his terrible misfortune. I'm impressed with every one of the 13 to 14 concurrent viewers who were start to finish. You didn't have enough people on the call for that. The host abandoned the call. Just well, any case. I have to say that among the most recently created SCP files, this is probably the best I've seen put forward.
Yes, I liked it.
Quite the tale. Lots of ponder here.
Best by volume for sure.
Yeah,
Well, there wasn't that many, what's it called, grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes.
None was consistent. I don't feel they wasted a lot of words, but they broke it up in nice ways. The incident reports really, well, provide a bit of comic relief, nothing else. So, thank you all. I'm glad if you enjoyed the show as it was, and egads am I eager to be done with it. So, let's wrap up with a few details, namely promotion. If anyone in, I think I've covered 049, very familiar number. In any case, if any creators have their links handy, feel free to top that in chat now. And the only other news I have for promotion are thus. SideQuest is on track to start up again tomorrow, provided I haven't ruined my voice by nonsensically and irrationally choosing voices that are very cheese-gratery on one's vocal cords. What was I thinking? I should be there with no issues whatsoever. But the next day is going to be absolutely exhausting, so there is no Saturday show. That's something I'm going to have to cancel right now. But
Meow.
Yes, meow.
Meow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all, and until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly.
Remember to have fun, or fun will have you.
That's
Fun will have you.
Yes.
really apt here.
Yes.
Interesting.